Hello, my name is Ed Zaleski. My wife and I have lived in Cicero 54 years. We had to move once because they kicked us out at 481 highway. But I've never had any problem with the police department. I think they're the greatest. Whenever we had any emergencies, they were right there. And I say, if it's not broken, you can't fix it. Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing, board? With all due respect to the volunteers of the committee, my name is Jimmy Tortorelli. I'm 48 years old. I was born and raised in Cicero, and I bought my home in 1987. I live on Church Street. And if I didn't get a ride here tonight, I would have walked here to support the Cicero Police Department. I also want to say that many years ago, Heights wanted to change their hot dog, and it failed. And I hate to be repetitive, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Thank you.
My name is Ron Barley. I live on Torchwood Lane. I've lived in Cicero most of my life. You said it's $63 a year for police protection on a $193,000 house. To put this in perspective, you will pay more for a week's worth of groceries than you're paying for a year's worth of police protection. We have a surcharge of 3% on our cable bills, which for most people is probably around $30 to $35 a year that they're paying just for cable service. I think the police department has done an excellent job. I think they will continue to do an excellent job, and they should stay.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ann Ruggieri from Muskrat Bay Road, and I would like to just very briefly talk about an incident that I came up to, unexpectedly. I stopped at Walmart. There were two sheriff's cars outside of Walmart dealing with an individual who was attempting to steal a computer. But while those two sheriff's cars were occupied, we had the town of Cicero police that were protecting the rest of the community. I think it's very important to keep the Cicero Police Department. They do a lot. They are visible. Stopping on Saturday, I had a nice visit with one of the police officers and Angela, and I see my e-policing emails all the time. I think they keep us well informed. They're there. They're friendly. We know them. They know us. I think we should keep the police department. And Chief Snell, thank you. Thank you.
Jim Coral. Just one quick comment. My concern is I think the committee did an excellent job of putting this thing together. They really did. There's a lot of good information there. My problem, I guess, with the whole process is the fact that it was stated by one of the board members back in one of the early January meetings this year that this was going to be put on a referendum in November anyway. So I don't know if we're backing into this process or what it is. That's just my concern. Was it a done deal before we started?
No, it was
It's the only
not.
question I've got.
She didn't say that.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
If you're referring to me, Mr. Carl, I never made the statement that it would be a referendum, no matter what. What I said was that it had been brought up to us as we went door to door, and that we voted to those people that were concerned about the police department to at least look at it and have a choice. That was what I stated.
Yes, my name is Dick Webb. I live in 8653 Backstretch Path. I'm also chief of the Volunteers and Police Service at the Cicero Police Department. I've been associated with the Cicero Police Department for 11 years as a volunteer, and I want to make sure that the residents of Cicero understand what they will lose if they lose the Cicero Police Department. You're going to lose a lot of good volunteers that are there for a lot of different occasions. And we're there when we need it, where we need it, regardless of the weather. So I think we should keep that in mind. Second, 3 weeks ago, August the 7th and the 8th, the town of Cicero was host to the Gus Macker 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which I think was very successful. I think the town should know that they have a girl Friday, a girl Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This lady, I have never seen a person so involved that had so much going on at one time and had her hands around everything that was going on. And the town should be proud of Ms. Jody Rogers.
Thank you, Dick. There. There's another one.
This is I just wanted to thank the entire committee for all the work they did. I know how involved it was. I'm married to one of the committee members. And let me tell you that there is more paper in our house than has ever been before. And probably will never be that much again, I hope. But I'm saying they did a wonderful job, and they are not committed to any one of the things they've said. And I do think that we have options. And I do think also that we have to consider the amount of money in the future as well as in the present. And I thank them for even bringing it to my attention. And for all of you who have that in front of you or will have that in front of you at some point in time, just really study that and don't get just into personalities or into people, because that isn't all that we have. We have lovely people in our town, and I really enjoy most all of them. But I just don't think that we can make intelligent, informed decisions with just thinking about people's personalities and what they do or don't do for us. So let's just go from there and try to learn from the whole experience. Thank you. Thank you.
With that said, oh, here comes another one. Oh, you guys gotta be quicker. I'm gonna shut the door.
Here comes another one. A little nervous, Tony? Am I barred? Am I barred from here, Tony? Okay. When Mr. Rowley...
Could you use the microphone?
When Mr. Rowley suggested consolidate their police force with the sheriff's, I know of 2 letters to papers.
Closer to the...
I know of 2 letters to the papers that stated they should keep their police force local. One was written by a retired state trooper, Michael Callahan of Clay, and it was in, I forgot which, Neighbors Northeast or the Star News. And the other one was written by me, which was sent to the Post Standard and never got printed. And so much for our free press. Are there any students in government here tonight?
I don't think so.
Well, with about 30,000 residents of this town, I'd say this is a pretty poor showing of such an important matter. If we consolidate with the sheriffs, which I wouldn't object to, but I would discourage, what's the next step to save money from some suggestion from a town board member or a resident? Over the federal police force? I don't think you'd want that. I think we should keep our local police force. They know the residents. They'll stand by the residents. Whereas if we have outsiders come in from the federal police force, it's happened in history before. What can happen? I've got the documentation right here. This, I'm not going to read it because it'll take about 20 minutes. This was in a newspaper I got. It's entitled Lessons to America from the White Rose. A lot of you might remember what the White Rose Society was in Germany. You might have forgotten, or you might not know. But I suggest you read this. I think Mr. Rowley should have studied more history and less arithmetic, because he said he could save the residents for each parcel about $50 a year by going with sheriffs. So if there are any students in government that want to read this, I suggest they do. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'm going to close the public input and open up any remarks from the engineer.